take my oatmeal. Yeah. So here's the deal. My first child will eat anything and everything, and everyone has always commented on how good of an eater she is. But this little guy, on the other hand, is my picky one. Thankfully, we found quite a few foods that I approve of and that he loves, so that is what I'm going to meal prep today. Now, I know smoothies might not seem that exciting, but my son loves smoothies. If I don't have a smoothie prepared for him when he wakes up in the morning, he is so fussy until he can have his smoothie. And I honestly view that as a good thing because I'm able to cram in a ton of fruits and veggies, proteins, nuts, seeds, whatever I want, and he will drink it. So every week I always buy a ton of bananas and I let them ripen on the counter, and when they are black and spotty, I peel them, put them in a bag that I reuse again and again, and freeze them. And they make the creamiest, thickest, milkshake-like smoothies and are great for banana ice cream as well. Another frozen fruit that I always like to have on hand is mango. I find mango makes the best green smoothies, and I'm always trying to find ways to sneak greens into my son's diet. So here, it's cheaper for me to buy fresh mango and to cut them into chunks myself and to freeze them, but for you it might be cheaper to buy already frozen mango. Just check your store, see what you have access to. But here I'm just cutting the flesh off of my mango, cutting it into pieces, and then what I like to do to make sure that all of the mango doesn't stick together in one giant sheet is spread the pieces out on a silicone-lined baking sheet or a parchment paper-lined baking sheet and freeze them separately, and then I take these frozen mango pieces and put them in a bag to store in the freezer. As you can see, once the mango has frozen, I can break it into more manageable chunks and put it in the bag that I use for my frozen mango. Mango?
Yeah. My dad wants one.
So good.
So,
Like candy.
they're like candy. They're so cold.
So good. We really are so blessed to have access to really cheap, delicious mango, so I always have this in my freezer. The next thing I like to meal prep for smoothies might seem a little weird, but I love to add different veggies to smoothies, and cauliflower is one of my favorites. All I do is cut a head of cauliflower into florets, and then I like to steam it. I don't really have a steamer, so I just use my rice cooker, which has a steamer basket, and it works great. I put the florets into the basket and steam them until they're fork tender but not too mushy. Once the cauliflower has steamed, I like to again pour it onto a baking sheet that has been lined, spread the florets out, and place them in the freezer to freeze in single individual florets. And then I can peel them off the baking sheet and place them in a Ziploc bag for smoothies. At the end of the video, I'll be sure to show you my favorite smoothie involving frozen cauliflower, so be sure to stay tuned. I know I'll probably get a ton of comments on using these plastic Ziploc bags, but I just continue to reuse these bags again and again, and they last me quite a while, and I find they last longer than some of the reusable Ziploc bags that I have purchased in the past. Okay, now that we have our smoothie prep finished, let's move on to the best part of this meal prep, which is chocolate. More specifically, brownie batter baked oatmeal. Seriously, who doesn't want to start their day with chocolate, especially a toddler who likes oatmeal of any form or dessert of any form? My son loves this oatmeal, and I know you guys will too. It's definitely one of my blog's most viewed recipes, and it's full of whole grains and fiber, and it's really easy to make. All you're gonna do is whisk together all of the wet ingredients before adding in your rolled oats, and you'll end up with this kind of soupy oatmeal batter that you're just gonna pour into a 9x9 or 8x8 inch baking dish and bake for about 25 to 30 minutes or until set, and you'll end up with this cakey, thick, dense, delicious baked oatmeal. I like to switch up the breakfasts I serve my family whenever I can, so I meal prepped another baked good so that they could have chocolate baked oatmeal one day and these banana muffins the next day and just switch off until they were gone. So again, I'm using a ton of ripe bananas in this meal prep. I highly recommend them. They add a ton of natural sweetness, so you don't have to include as much sugar in your meal prep or baking. So here I'm just whisking together all of the wet ingredients again before adding in my whole wheat flour. And you are going to stir this until just combined. You never want to overmix your muffin batter. And then once I have my batter all set and ready to go, I'm just going to divide it among 12 muffin cups and bake these until fluffy and set. As you could guess, I serve these muffins alongside my fruit and veggie-filled smoothie, and I would say that's quite a balanced breakfast, especially for a picky toddler. Lunch is definitely the meal I think about the least, but I wish I put the most effort into because usually we are super busy in the mornings. I like to get out, get the kids active, go to the pool, go on walks, and so they are usually super hungry for lunch, and I barely have any time to prepare it, and they are super hungry, and so am I actually. So here I am preparing a double batch of my favorite vegan pesto. I'll leave all the links for these recipes down below, but basically I am putting some garlic, walnuts, a pinch of salt into a food processor, and I'm gonna pulse this or process it until a meal forms before adding in a ton of fresh basil that I've taken the stems off of. And instead of Parmesan cheese, I like to use nutritional yeast. I add in a little more salt, some lemon juice, and I process this until all the basil has been broken down and a nice paste forms. Next, I take quite a bit of olive oil, which I am so okay with, especially for my growing little guy, and I stream this into my food processor while it's still running, and this allows all the oil and the basil to emulsify and create the best vegan pesto you will ever have. I recently picked up these silicone ice cube trays that come in all different sizes. The ones I'm using here are probably about 2 tablespoons worth of volume. And I'm just dividing the pesto among the different cubes so that I can remove a cube or 2 or 3 at a time. You can either defrost it in the microwave, let it thaw overnight, and it adds so much flavor to any meal, or you can just stir it over pasta for a quick and easy lunch. The next sauce that I made was my nacho cheese sauce, which is made from a base of soaked cashews. So to a blender, I'm adding some cashews, nutritional yeast, spices, a little bit of lemon juice and soy sauce, salt and water, and blending this until super smooth. And then again, I just poured these into those silicone cubes. I used a larger volume amount, and this was so great to thaw and put on pasta. Did I mention my son likes pasta? Because if I put anything on pasta, he will eat it. For any toddler, snacks are a must. They are always busy and active and exploring the world, and they get hungry. So I love to have these energy bites on hand at all times. You guys have seen these before, but I really never go a week without these in my fridge. I like to mix up the add-ins, use different nut butters, nut seeds, liquid sweeteners. It's always a different recipe and they always turn out great, so they're kind of foolproof. I will leave my favorite go-to recipe down below if you want to check it out. But lately I've been reducing the amount of ground flaxseed in my energy bites just because they keep my son a little bit too regular, if you know what I mean. And I've been adding in some ground almonds instead, and these were delicious. Another snack I always like to have on hand, especially since we live in Malaysia and are sweating 24/7, are popsicles. I'm always switching up the flavor for these as well, but usually I use a base of coconut cream. This really provides an ice cream-like texture and a lot of natural fats for my son as he's growing, and my daughter always likes to help out. So here I am pouring in a mango and coconut base, and then to this base mixture I added in some raspberries, and it created a really cool 2-layer popsicle that my son loved. It really helped him when he was super hot after being outside or his gums were sore from teething. Yes, he's still getting some teeth, so these are just really great to have on hand. Definitely recommend picking up some popsicle molds so that you can choose what goes into your popsicles, and I'm sure you can come up with all different kinds of flavors that your toddlers will love. Okay, now is the time for me to show you how I use the ingredients that I prepped. So here I'm making a green smoothie with a load of juice, some frozen banana, some of that frozen mango, and a bunch of kale. And this makes the creamiest, most delicious smoothie that everyone will love. And it's such a great way to start the day with a ton of fruits and veggies. You doing your dance, hun man? Smoothie!
You hear that, Mama?
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next smoothie I make on a regular basis is a peanut butter banana chocolate smoothie that uses that frozen cauliflower that you prepared. So to a blender, add some non-dairy milk, your chopped up frozen banana, the frozen cauliflower florets, some peanut butter and cocoa powder, and if you have some medjool dates, definitely add those in as well, and blend this until super smooth and creamy, and it will taste like a milkshake, and your whole family will love it, adults as well, and you're sneaking in some veggies first thing in the morning. Obviously, alongside the smoothies, I like to serve some kind of baked good that my son can pick up himself. He really likes to feed himself and be independent, so this chocolate baked oatmeal came in handy so many times, as well as the banana muffins. As for the sauces that I meal prepped, I usually would just pop them out of their container about an hour or two before I wanted to eat if I thought about it, but if I didn't, it really wasn't a big deal. I would just defrost them in the microwave. Then all I had to do was stir them into some whole grain pasta, add in some beans or lentils, and I had a well-balanced meal that my son really enjoyed and ate every single time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some healthy plant-based meal ideas, not just for your toddlers, but for the whole family as well. If you want to see more meal prep videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button that will be on the screen right now, and turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss my next video. Should we go to the table?